I don't know if you saw this story about the UN. Bourgeot was earning $7,000 a month as the head of logistics in the peacekeeping mission in Goma. I don't even know where Goma is. Do you?
No.
He was getting locals to procure children for him. He had two assets that ensured children trusted him. He was white, and he worked for the United Nations.
You can always trust white people.
Sure.
Right?
Always.
Isn't that a pretty hardcore
white people will
rule
do
of thumb?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He said the sex was consensual, but is unsure if the children were afraid to say no. I'm not sure. I don't think so, but I'm not sure. Could be.
Oh, my gosh.
After the Congolese police arrested him and the French authorities jailed him for 9 years in 2008, the UN made a public promise to help his victims. That promise was never kept. The UN said it couldn't find the victims. 14 years on...
I bet they tried really hard.
Yeah, they...
really hard, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably still looking right now.
No.
No? Oh.
No.
Darn it.
Fortunately... Channel 4, I don't know where Channel 4 is. Maybe this is Channel 4 from the BBC. 14 years on, we investigated sex abuse for Channel 4. It took only one afternoon for my producer to find 4 women who he had raped when they were children.
Wow.
The hunting ground was the slums and the airport, where barefoot children in ragged clothes scamper through the alleyways. Adults remember the rapes well. One girl was 14 when she used to sell bananas by the side of the road to pay for her education. Luring her with promises of help for 6 months, he took her to a hotel where he abused her. He was so old as my father. He was a civilian, part of the culture of UN personnel having sex with prostitutes, including children. More than a decade on, that culture still persists. This story goes on to say how horrible these peacekeepers are from the United Nations. We've known this story forever, Pat. We've heard about the blue helmets going in and raping women and children for decades.
True.
Decades.
Yeah.
And nobody's done anything about it.
And they're not just inept or ineffective. They're evil.
They're evil. They're evil. Mike Lee, Chip Roy, and Representative Mike Rogers of Alabama now are pushing a proposal that would cut all of our ties to the UN and all of its affiliated entities, including the World Health Organization. The UN doesn't deserve a single dime of American taxpayer money or one bit of our support. We should defund it and leave it immediately. And I'm proud to lead this critical effort alongside with Mike Lee and Mike Rogers. This is Chip Roy. No more blank checks for the United Nations. America's hard-earned dollars have been funneled into initiatives that fly into the face of our values, enabling tyrants, betraying allies, and spreading bigotry. With the Defund Act, we're stepping away from this debacle. If we engage with the UN in the future, it will be on our terms with the full backing of the Senate and the ironclad escape clause. This is fantastic.
And not only should we leave it, we should force them to leave us. Get off our continent. Take your stupid organization to Belgium or someplace.
This is not our continent. What about Canada and Mexico?
Okay, well, get off our mainland. Get out of our country.
Get off our island. Yeah. That'll show you.
Seriously, doesn't this belong in Europe? Shouldn't it be in Belgium, just like the European Union is and every other one world organization known to man, including NATO? Get them over there. Yeah. They'd love them over there. Well, they do love them.
I don't know if the people love them anymore.
Not the people, but certainly the European bureaucrats love them.
Well, the bureaucrats here generally love them, don't you think?
True, yeah.
I mean, I've never seen a time where our bureaucrats are more out of step all over the world.
Right.
I said this, 4 or 5 years ago. This is not a war against Republican Democrat. This is truly between the elites and the people. And that's what's happening all over the world. That's what's happening in China.
Yeah.
That's what's happening in France and the Scandinavian countries and Germany.
I wonder if that's why people who are similar to Donald Trump, at least in rhetoric or in delivery, are winning all over the world.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
Argentina, the Netherlands. I mean, did you ever think Geert Wilders would be elected the head of the Netherlands? No way. No way.
Is he? Did he make it to prime minister? I don't think he has enough.
They thought he was going to, but
he didn't. He just missed it, just shy of it.
But
still,
I mean, that was really amazing.
Yeah. We were advised by everybody not to have him on. He came to America. He came into the studios, and we had him on, and everybody was like, "You can't have him on. He's a
radical,
racist, radical bigot. No, not so far. I mean, doesn't have enough power to really show it, but doesn't seem to be in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
and the same thing with the guy in Argentina. That guy looks great.
He does. He's just outspoken, and people, for some reason, recoil at that. They don't like outspoken leaders, I guess. People who are sick and tired of pussyfooting around and just tell it like it is. And that's what he does.
But that's not, the people are not tired of that at all.
No, they're not.
They're not that at all.
The left is tired. The left certainly doesn't want that.
Correct. They don't want anybody speaking out because they are the fascists. Yep. I mean, when and this was brought up yesterday by a few people, we talked about it yesterday. When Joe Biden says he's going to just take the formulas and just take the patents.
Believe that? From the drug companies.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be okay with that because the pharmaceuticals are all evil giants who make too much money and charge us too much. But I'm sorry, this is about freedom. This can't be about the government just seizing control of everything they want.
Beyond that, they don't think they're bad.
That's very true.
The government doesn't.
They're in bed with Pfizer and Moderna.
Yes. I was never against big pharmaceutical. I thought big pharmaceutical, it's a giant corporation. Yes, it's probably not doing things, but this is redistribution of wealth. This is, to give to the give to the have-nots and screw the haves. We've always paid more here in America for our drugs, so people who don't have as much will pay less all around the country.
Yeah.
I've always thought, well, I don't like it, but okay. Well, now you see the government and pharmaceutical companies have been in bed for a long time. And all of a sudden, the left, who's been saying this forever, they love them.
Yeah.
They love them.
They're best friends with the pharmaceuticals.
Right. And now he's saying, screw the pharmaceutical companies. I'm just going to take their patents. You can't do that.
No. They're doing so many things they can't do, though. It's amazing. I don't think can't means what we thought it meant.
Yeah, I know.
The other story that was really big yesterday was the FBI maybe being thwarted in their civil asset forfeiture problem, which happened in Los Angeles. Remember that one from 2 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
They stole anywhere from $85 to $100 million worth of cash and goods from people.
They went into this, I think it was in Beverly Hills, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and they went into this, vault. It's kind of like, mailboxes, etc. kind of vault. It's not a bank. It's just like this giant vault. And people would rent safety deposit boxes. Well, there was one guy who... Did they prove that he was doing things or not?
No, and it wasn't. I don't think it was an individual at all. It was the company, supposedly, that operated or owned the safety deposit boxes. Okay. And so they had the warrant to go look at the company's safety deposit boxes.
Because they thought there might be illegal, ill-gotten goods in their safety deposit box.
And they didn't find anything illegal there.
Right.
But they were also ordered not to touch anybody else's safety deposit box. Any of the individuals, they're not fair game. They're off limits. Leave it alone. So what they did instead was get into all 1,400 safety deposit boxes and
Take everything.
They took gold coins. They took jewelry. They took cash. To the tune of $85 to $100 million worth. and didn't charge anybody with anything.
No, and they said to the people, well, you go ahead, fight us on this. Are you part of it? Are you part of the problem? I mean, they threatened them with prosecution if they said, hey, I want my stuff back. So a lot of people just they were like, I'm not going to fight with the United States government. I'm not going to.
And in a lot of cases, they were wealthy people and it didn't hurt them that bad. But that's beside the point.
Right.
Yeah, it's the principle of this thing. You can't just steal from people, but they do.
They do all the time. And it's not just the FBI. It's all the way down to our local police.
Yes.
I mean, we have become Mexico. And unless this stuff is stopped, when you put AI together with the federal government and all of its private-public partnerships, there ain't nothing left.
No.
There's nothing left. What do you think of the story today that the Democrats are coming out and they're saying companies like BlackRock can't own private houses. They can't invest in private homes and just buy them all up. Wait a minute. What? Why? What is that all about? Why would the Democrats be leading that charge?
And I didn't know that was happening in the first place. Did you? Were you aware of that?
Oh, yeah.
The investment from BlackRock in individual homes?
Vanguard and everything else.
Yeah.
That's what's driving our property prices so high. They go in and they buy entire neighborhoods, sometimes 2 and 3 times above the asking price. So they just come in and they buy everything, and then they hold it. It is part of the you'll own nothing, you'll rent from us.
Wow.
And so they're going in. And
how hard would that be to turn that down? Even if you're a big critic of BlackRock or Vanguard.
Come in for 3 times the price?
Say, I'll give you 3 times the market value.
It would be most people would not say no.
Not right.
I mean, I know a guy who was selling his house. Somebody from California came in, some big rich person from California came in and said, what are you asking for your house? And he said, it's not for sale. And he said, well, we've looked at the houses and, your house is probably worth X amount. He put $1 million on that amount plus. And the guy went, wait, what? And he said, and I'll give you another $1 million if you're out by the end of the month. He was out.
Oh, my gosh.
He was just out. He was like, bye-bye. Wow. You got it.
Yeah.
I'll load my car up starting right now.
I mean, if that's the case, I'm calling BlackRock today.
I know.
If you've considered living in this neighborhood.
I mean, it's crazy.
That is crazy.
But I'm first of all, I don't like the government saying what investors can and can't invest in.
A dangerous precedent.
Right.